Greetings, simple mortals. It is I, Miss Pepsi Man, and I come from the 5th dimension to escort you through this virtual floral maze.
Greetings, I am the Mistress of the Codex. To play along, please download the Orchid Collector Guide, log into Twitch, and help us identify orchids by posting in the chat. I repeat, please download the Orchid Collector Guide. Help us identify orchids by posting in the chat.
Orchid.
Hello, my name is Gabriel. I'm the Orchid Collector.
Let us enter the maze.
We are in the maze. I am not seeing any orchid for now.
I appear to be locked in some kind of rectangular floral room. Can I have a keycard, please?
I will use this card. This card is called Tempus. No,
Keycard?
it's called Clavia. It's a twisted key with petals, cast with rare gadolinium metals, airbrushed with forest green dolomite and peach-colored creolite. I will use this card to open this door, hopefully. Keycard!
Keycard!
Keycard! What orchids do you see, Orchid Collector?
I can see a red orchid
Orchids.
with a blue lip.
A red orchid with a blue lip.
Yes.
Spectacular petals.
Aha! I believe this is 0F00. Blubber Glue Bloom, Octagonia firenzum. Octagonia firenzum is an orchid common in Russia. The plant lives no more than 5 seconds and is often mistaken for eye floaters. Octagonia firenzum is often used as a natural glue for making silk strings for traditional instruments like the French small guitar or the Italian babel mandolin.
Do you think I should?
Sounds delightful.
Do you think I should collect it?
Please
I will collect it now. I have
Right
to
for the
collect
picking.
this orchid. I see now a dark blue orchid with reddish throat and a purple lip.
Reddish throat
Yes.
and a
Do we have
purple
enough
lip.
coins to unlock another
I think we can pay for another keycard. Let's try. Keycard.
keycard?
Keycard!
Ripe for the picking.
How are we going for resources, team?
9,000 coin points.
Coins, yes.
Coin points?
Yes.
That
What
is
orchid
correct.
do you have?
The cost of coin points is pretty good at the moment here.
Describe the
I
orchid.
have a light blue
The
orchid.
riddle of the realm has been solved.
Oh,
The riddle of the realm has been solved.
yeah. All orchids are now gone. I
We
have.
appear to be in another floral maze.
I don't find any orchids. Where are all the
Actual
orchids?
orchids.
I'd love to see some actual orchids.
Yes.
Orchids.
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 Oh, I see a green orchid with light purple pink stripes on the petals.
A green orchid
Exquisite
with
stripes.
light purple pink stripes.
It has,
Are the stripes horizontal or vertical?
I guess, horizontal. I guess.
Exquisite stripes.
Okay, I believe this is the dwindler orchid.
The
Flavonia
dwindler orchid.
reductus. Flavonia reductus is a plant in the orchid
Requesting
family.
keycard.
Endemic to
Keycard.
Costa Rica. Keycard!
Oh, it's a
It grows
false.
in reverse, becoming
Keycard.
tinier and tinier. Keycard! Until it disappears completely. It is unknown where the orchid goes when it disappears. Well, best pick it before it disappears, my friend.
I will collect this orchid for my collection.
Orchid.
Could I please have some help with the audience, from the audience identifying orchids?
We have a yellow orchid.
A yellow orchid. A yellow orchid.
It is completely yellow with a red-orange lip.
Spectacular
Red,
petals.
orange lips. Does it have any blue?
No, it's completely yellow apart from that.
Does it have a pinkish tinge?
Not really, no. It's
Okay, I believe it's the clickbait.
Keycard.
Clickbait bloom.
Keycard.
Clicotis. Keycard. Clicotis downus likes to be clicked. Click it.
I will click it. I clicked it.
Orchid Enthusiast 21 says clickbait. Yep.
Yep.
Correct. Too late.
I will now try this card out. It's called Traum. A cloud threads through the eyes of the needle. I will use this card to take a little short rest. Breaking news. The Imperial Orchid Society of Orchid Collectors and Friends has just announced the worrying disappearance of famed horticulturist Eckhard Florescu. Florescu was well known in the orchid collector community as a specialist of the symbiotic relationship between orchids of the genus Labyrinthias and feverling mushrooms, often used in the manufacture of interdimensional backdoors. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Eckhard Florescu or any other missing orchid collector, please call the Federal Bureau of Flowers and Vegetables immediately. And now, let's get back to a daily maze marathon.
A new orchid generation can begin.
We are
We are
back in the maze.
We have 80 seconds left to locate the exit.
80 seconds. Let's find some orchids.
I will use this card. It's called Tempest, a bronze hourglass airbrushed with fluorescent paint injected with artificial sands. Time extension.
Time extension.
Keycard, requesting
Keycard.
Keycard.
I have a very multicolored orchid. Oh,
Multicolored
we are
orchid.
out of the maze, and then the new maze. These mazes, they never end, do they? There's no orchid visible. Oh, I have an orchid that has a red throat, a purple petal, and it has like... No, it has like whitish blue,
When you say
whitish
purple,
petal.
do you mean magenta?
What
I-
lovely petals.
I probably mean magenta, yes.
I need a little more help.
The-
What color is its lip?
It's purple, I would say.
Purple lip,
Something-
pale blue. Is it a dusty purple blue?
I don't know what that means
From
exactly.
the audience, Orchid Enthusiast 21. Is it Jürgen? Jürgen. Yes, I had a friend once called Jürgen. Dante Scanline. Spider Orchid. Could be.
Let's maybe try
Nomi
that.
GM 2090 Emmy Orchid. Emmy Orchid? I personally think it is the... Honestly, I have no bloody idea.
Patience.
Maybe it's the lazy
I
space.
need more information on this
Latensia
orchid.
lumen is found in moist to wet tallgrass, prairie, sedge meadows, fens, and oil fields. It grows always a bit later than expected, thus being considered by some horticulturists as belonging to the wider genus of lazy orchids, also known as Procrastinatus latus. I have a feeling you're being quite lazy, my orchid collector friend.
Should I click it or not? I refuse
Click
to be
it.
judged, by the way. Should I click it or not? Should I
Click
take it? I click it.
Exquisite
Oh,
stripes.
it was, I think, a positive orchid. This is an exciting journey. I have a black orchid now with a slightly red lip.
Black
Yes.
orchid, a black orchid, a slightly red lip. Well, it can't be the cheetah orchid. I don't think it's the wolverine flower.
I need more information on this orchid.
The bland bob, Lovia maculatum. Lovia maculatum is rumored to be an orchid of the genus Lovia. It was immediately forgotten when out of sight. It was
Oh.
discovered in the Andes of Peru by Carol Lloyd in 1856 and successfully introduced by her. A few years later, it was rediscovered in the same locality by Evelyn
We have
Reinhardt,
5
and then a few
seconds.
years
4,
later by Alexander
3,
Grossgard, and so
I-
on. Click it!
Time extension!
Time extension.
Time extension.
Oh my god.
This was a close call, how they say.
I see we have a few suggestions. Orchid Enthusiast 21 says Bland Bob. Yes, that was also my guess. Nomi GM90, Bland Bob, Dante Scanline, Wolverine Flower. Dante Scanline says Soggy Frill. Do we have a Soggy Frill?
I don't know. What
You've
is...
got a bit of a Soggy Frill.
I heard about it, but I never encountered it in the wild. Keycard.
Requesting keycard.
Keycard?
Requesting an actual keycard,
Oh
please.
my god.
Full
Keycard.
Thank you.
My bad. Excuse me.
Dante Scanline refers to the taxpayer's orchid.
We have so many orchids here. I will claim some of them for my collection.
I'm a little bit concerned
We are
about
going
your
down
strategy.
in points.
Oh
This is a
no.
terrible
Oh my
idea.
god. My god. What have I done?
Are we losing resources due to your
We-
poor strategy?
Yes. I will take all blame for this action. What
Describe-
about the black orchid? Is it the soggy?
Black orchid? Describe the black orchid to me.
It's the one that we were discussing at the moment. Should I take it or not? I will take it.
I'm going to take Dante Scanline's advice, the Soggy Frill. I think a Soggy Frill sounds delightful.
I will take it.
Right, split ticket.
Very good. We are at the end of the maze, I think.
Who would have thought such a beauty could be so among the most
Oh.
spectacular of all orchids?
I like how different
I
this new maze is.
I can see the maze, but I cannot access it.
Oh, what is that?
We must have to go this way.
Oh, my god. I think I will take this moment to take a little bit of a rest, if that's okay with you. Breaking news! The Imperial Orchid Society of Orchid Collectors and Friends has just announced that the remains of Eckhard Florescu were found near Doomskin Lake by a group of young hiking fundamentalists. As is common for orchid collectors, his body had already started decomposing and blooming into a purple orchid of the genus Labyrinthias. The Federal Bureau of Flowers and Vegetables and the Mycelial Crime Unit have released a joint statement appealing to the public to help them locate the only current suspect. According to a composite image drawn by the 10,000 hands of the Mycelial Crime Unit, the suspect looks like a normal white male with no defining characteristics. He does seem to like wearing a blue hat. I repeat, a blue hat. If you have any information on the whereabouts of this person, please report to the left corner of the Mycelial Crime Unit immediately. And now, let's get back to our daily maze marathon. We are back in the maze.
You're
I'm
back in the
desperate to
maze.
find some orchids. Desperate to find some orchids.
Oh, there's this yellow one again. I will collect this for my
Okay,
collection.
yellow.
Now we
yellow.
have. I collected it already. I liked how it looked. We have a white one with
A white orchid.
But-
Can anyone in the audience help me?
It has a slightly greenish lip.
Actual
Greenish lip.
orchids.
Could it be the noodle orchid?
Requesting keycard.
Maybe.
Keycard?
Keycard.
I'd like to noodle around a little and read you the description of this orchid.
Yes.
Erbaeus dodsonia is an orchid endemic to Antarctica. It is
Orchids.
edible when cooked with some brands of Shaoxing wine. It sounds delicious. It sounds delightful. Let's pick it.
Should I pick it? I will
Pick
claim
it.
this orchid for my
Among the
collection.
most spectacular of all orchids.
Orchid Enthusiast 21 confirms it's the noodle. It's the
Very
noodle.
good,
The
very
committee
good.
has spoken. It's the noodle.
Very good. I have now a white orchid with a very tiny red dot.
A very
In the middle.
tiny red dot.
Yes.
Petals with beautiful
A very tiny red dot.
spots.
You know, I've seen this one before. It's quite unusual. And a white orchid with a tiny red dot. Question mark, question mark, question mark. It's an orchid of an unknown genus. It was first formally described in 1902 by Rudolf Reichenberg, who gave it the name Sabulatium gracilius, and published the description in
Time
Die Flora der
extension.
Deutschen Wälder und Moore. In 1916, Elton Jakob Weber changed the name to Eberliatium gracilius. In 1924, Olivia Mariquin changed the name to Gracilium romana. In 1958, Shikigo Sugawara changed the name to Rotundra sinensis. In 1976, the International Conglomerate of Orchid Enthusiasts declared the orchid illegal, stating that a flower which cannot be named cannot be owned.
Quite
Requesting keycard.
an interesting
It sounds
keycard.
quite
Keycard.
rare.
I will collect it for my collection.
Apparently it grows in a monsoonal climate.
Okay.
Ripe for the picking.
We have now. Let me try this one. It's very colorful. Colorful. It's difficult
Very
to explain. Really, it's kind of. It has purple stripes and kind of a cloudy mist of colors around it,
A cloudy mist
and
of
also
colors.
this kind of red eye in the middle.
Red
Requesting
eye in the
keycard, please.
Keycard.
middle. Can I get some help from the audience with this orchid? I'm having trouble identifying
Maybe
it.
the orchid community could help us.
Requesting keycard.
Can the
Keycard.
orchid community help us? We reach out to you in this moment.
I will take the yellow one because I remember it being quite tasty.
I think that
Oh,
was
the
poisonous,
clickbait.
Gabriel.
Clickbait.
I'm not eating them, by the way. This is just a figure of speech.
I'm concerned about our resources.
Oh my god, we need time. Time extension.
Time extension.
Time
Time
extension.
extension.
Time extension.
Time extension.
Time extension.
Time
I
extension.
think that's enough time.
Dante Scanline says
orchid.
lighthouse orchid. Lighthouse orchid.
The lighthouse orchid, that's possible.
I mean, I'd just pick it if I were you.
I will now take. I think I will make a decision and take this orchid. Sometimes you have to basically take your life in your own
Dante
hands.
Scanline
you know?
says orchid collecting seems pretty stressful. Yes.
The riddle of the realm has been solved.
Oh! Very good. That's a very completely different maze. Look around. Look at the colors. There's no orchids for now.
Do you have any orchids, my orchid collector friends?
Not really.
An orchid has appeared.
I don't see it. Maybe it's the dry season.
It is on top of the cards, Gabriel.
Oh, now I see it.
It does require a moist climate.
Yes,
for
I
orchids.
have heard. So the orchid I'm seeing now is green and it has blue
Green.
radiating
Green.
stripes coming out from its.
I
from
had
its
some
throat.
radiating stripes once when I was ill.
That it's a very
Orchid
dangerous condition.
Enthusiast 21 says DVD. Okay, I believe that's on page. Ah yes, DV62, Dividius videum, a species originating at the end of the 20th century, sharp, digital, and emblazing 72-pixel display, and essential for every modern orchid collector.
Oh, I am one of those modern orchid
Pick
collectors,
that one
so
up
I
and
will
put it
claim
in your
it.
wallet.
I have it now. Then I have a very simple, completely light blue one. It has no stripes whatsoever.
A light blue orchid.
It
Is
is-
it a sort of a powdery blue?
Yeah, you could say
Powdery
that.
How
blue.
much does a keycard cost?
How much money do we have?
That's a good question. Keycard costs 5,000.
We do not have
Powdery
enough.
blue.
We need to make 4,000 in the next 20
I will
seconds.
then collect all these
4,000 in the
keycards.
next 20 seconds.
I will
Okay, we have
collect-
sell me
I
an
will
orchid
requesting
NFT.
keycard.
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 Keycard. Powdery blue. Powdery blue.
Time extension.
You know, the powdery is time extension.
Time extension.
False friend. I believe it's a false friend. Sonatio ephemeral.
It is too late, I have collected it already.
Native to Sarawak and Sabah on the island of Borneo in Malaysia. This orchid species is able to form symbiotic relationships with a variety of mycorrhizal fungi, including Tulsinella curculus, Tulsinella casophora. It can also grow in humans. Both species generally end up being good friends. It sounds very agreeable.
I will now take a moment to rest.
The speckled skin of St. Fiona Biancozina. St. Fiona Biancozina had distinctive and unusual markings on her skin, the origins of which were treated with suspicion by many influential public figures at the time. Debate and controversy considering her skin continues today. The International Orchid Collectors Association claims St. Fiona as one of their own. A hero of orchid specimen collection whose rare and beautiful appearance was caused by a brush with a previously unknown species of orchid in the swamps of Louisiana, which causes extreme pigmentation mutation upon skin-to-plant contact. The Conservation Society of North American Wetlands condemns St. Fiona as a reckless and pig-headed disruptor, whose unfortunate rash was caused by a predictable accident that occurred during one of their insensitive and risky romps through the Louisiana wetlands. Accusations recently published in Saints Now magazine suggest that St. Fiona genetically modified her appearance in order to better promote herself as an orchid influencer.
And we
are back in
the maze. Okay, there's a lot of new orchids here.
Orchids.
So, for example, I have this orchid with a blue lip, a greenish throat, and petals that are green also, but with like a red outline, so to speak.
Also lies in the ingenious.
I need information on this orchid.
A blue orchid with a greenish throat.
It has a blue throat and green petals with a red, kind of a red outline.
There are at least 20.
Quite the impressive color combination.
What
I
was
would
the
say.
throat color again?
The central color is blue.
28,000 species.
Does it have stripes?
Not really, I wouldn't say.
Perhaps
But
it's the wasted talent orchid.
Oh, possibly.
Quite suitable for you, I'd say. Amasia
I refuse to
uveta.
be judged.
A medicinal orchid named after the University of Wasted Talents, or UWT. The roots are alexioteric and antipyretic, useful in dyspepsia, bronchitis, inflammations, piles, and hiccups.
This sounds a quite useful orchid. What do you think?
I'm getting quite some suggestions here.
Oh.
Dante Scanline, there are more than 20 orchids in the world. Thank you for the helpful tip. Nomi GM90, Share Orchid Canidia Bactini. Dante Scanline, Citadel Orchid, the Citadel Orchid.
Maybe, can you
I
tell
haven't
me?
seen one of those for a while.
Can you read me the definition? Do you have it?
The
It's not going to
Citadel
blow
Orchid.
its cover for this sap circle.
I would take this one. I remember it being quite valuable back in its days.
Have you got any orchids there for me to identify?
I will click this one. I don't know.
We have 10 seconds.
Oh my
9
god,
seconds.
my
8,
god.
7.
Time extension.
Oh, thank
Time
goodness.
Time
extension.
extension.
Time extension.
Time extension.
Time extension?
Orchid Enthusiast 21 asks, what would Fiona do?
That is a very good question.
Who's Fiona?
I'm not religious, so I
Who
have
is
no.
Fiona?
I have no real.
Who is Saint Fiona Biancozina?
I am an orchid collector. I don't believe in any other gods than orchids.
Describe your orchid to me.
Oh, it's very colorful and multicolored. I think we might have encountered it before, but
Could this be the spirit orchid?
maybe. Can you read
Holvus
me?
mater. Holvus mater, commonly known as the spirit orchid, an orchid form found in Southeast Asia. The name mater was derived from the Roman word mate, meaning high-spirited, referring to the small, flexible flowers and a good sense of humor.
Oh, I like humor
It sounds very
sometimes.
uplifting.
Yes, I will collect this for my collection. I need some humorful flowers at home.
Dante Scanline, have you tried applying agile methodologies to orchid identification?
We actually just had a Kickstarter.
I personally prefer the
on-
waterfall technique.
Yeah, the waterfall technique. It's pretty like it's
More
kind
of
of
a
the new
Scrum
stuff.
orchid person myself.
Dante Scanline, it's done wonders for the tulip market. Interesting.
Time
Dante
extension.
Suke, what would Fiona do, as the kids are saying? Indeed. Orchid Enthusiast 21, acid orchid, question mark.
Acid orchid is a good question, even if I don't
Orchids
have any
are not
answer.
acid.
No, they're not really. They're actually pretty sugary, like almost like Connie, but you shouldn't eat them. They're pretty sensitive to human teeth. Here I have an orchid that is yellow. It has a yellow throat, a reddish lip, blue petals with dots on it. I have never seen quite such an orchid.
Blue petals with red dots?
With purple dots.
Lies
Purple
in the
dots.
ingenious mechanical construction.
I believe it's the leaky Jim.
Oh,
Gemea tuberculata is an orchid found in Uzbekistan. Is commonly referred to as leaky Jim or the tap, referring to the mucilaginous fluid which can be removed from the tubers when they are crushed. The fluid is sometimes used in the creation of vegetable-based dish detergents.
does that sound good to you?
Detergent can be tasty.
It sounds a little wet.
Oh, we have a controversy here. Should we vote? Let's vote. 1, 2, 3.
Can we please
yes.
get a vote? Leaky Jim,
Oh.
yes or no?
Yeah, we'll do it again. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
No.
Then yes, it is because 2 against 1.
Did we go up or down? The number's so large I can't
I'd like to
tell.
hear from the Orchid Committee.
The Orchid Committee, we are not friends anymore. Anyway.
Orchid Enthusiast
Time
21,
extension.
yes. Dante Scanline,
Requesting
yes.
keycard, please.
Keycard.
Dante Scanline, no.
Requesting keycard, please.
One
Keycard.
vote only per person. Keycard.
Requesting,
Keycard.
thank you very much.
Keycard.
Oh, another
I'm
vote.
concerned that our orchid identification
Keycard.
process is
Keycard.
becoming too bureaucratic. Keycard.
Keycard.
Bureaucratic. Keycard.
Oh,
We
here.
have solved the maze.
We have
Oh.
solved the maze.
Magnificent.
What a venture.
It is always a pleasure.
Such pleasure.
I'm waiting for an orchid. This is quite a funny little tune. Oh, here we have a red orchid with a purple lip.
Red orchid with a purple lip.
Yes.
Purple or blue?
I would call it purple.
Does it have a bit of a yellowish tinge?
Maybe, yes, it's a bit...
I believe it is R00, my good friend Reginald. Reginald is a mythical orchid observed only once by the horticulturist Gil Pappalardo during a dream. Its name remains a source of controversy. I personally dream of Reginald and would love to pick him every day.
I will pick Reginald up.
Orchid Enthusiast 21 concurs. Reginald.
Keycard.
Keycard.
Now, let me see. We have one blue, but very pale blue orchid. It has a,
Spectacular.
I guess a cyan lip. I don't know how to pronounce that word in this language that is spoken in mazes. But it's kind of pale blue with very light red spots on it, like almost like dirt.
Can I get a suggestion from the audience? I'm a bit concerned about this orchid.
Orchids come in an immense range of shapes, sizes, and colours.
Dante Scanline, orchids
Keycard.
are just
Keycard.
flowers. Keycard.
Who said that?
Dante Scanline.
This
I'll be
person-
sending the police to his door.
This person
Dante
should
is
be
quite cheeky.
excluded from the orchid community.
Could it be the Citadel orchid? Orchid Enthusiast 21 suggests that it may be the Citadel.
Maybe, let's try
Is
it.
Orchid Enthusiast 21 a registered member of the Orchid Committee?
Sounds like they don't have their license.
Do they have their license?
We will not tolerate any orchid collection without
Orchid
any license.
Citadel.
Oh no!
Oh.
We died!
Oh,
What should we do?
oh, I was so immersed.
What a shocking end.
That was an unexpected, shocking end.
What a shocking, devastating end.
This is too bad. Should we do a last little round?
Congratulations!
No.
Failure. Continue.
One more time.
One more time.
Continue.
We should vote, maybe.
Continue.
Okay,
Let's do it. Okay.
we are back in the maze.
We're back in the maze.
We're back in the maze! Woo!
Show me your orchids.
Orchids.
Actual
Orchids.
orchids.
Where are they? Oh, here I have a pink, purple...
Riddle the maze has
Oh,
been solved.
that was a tiny
It
maze.
was a speed run.
Is it legal to drink while identifying orchids?
I think it's a requirement.
Yes, I have also heard so. Oh, here we have a... I cannot really see this orchid. It kind of hides itself. Oh, here we have this...
Exquisite stripes.
exactly, it has exquisite stripes. And
Tell me more about these
it
exquisite
is
stripes.
red. It is red in the middle, and it has kind of white, bluish petals with red stripes flowing from the center.
Your descriptive powers are really
It looks kind of an
a little
angel,
lacking,
but
quite frankly.
almost kind of an angel, but as an orchid.
Okay, my guess is the soggy frill. I don't know.
Oh, we had this
Opelius
before, maybe.
calamari is an orchid found in the Pacific Ocean. Dante's scanline suggests it may be the frigid sorcerer.
Oh,
Not a terrible suggestion.
sounds interesting. Oh, this one I
Dante
had it
seems to be
before.
quite experienced. Orchid Enthusiast 21 suggests Emmy. That's not the first time you've said Emmy. I don't know, you're on your own here, Orchid Collector.
I will pick this orchid for my
Riddle of the Realm has
collection.
been solved.
Oh, this was.
Riddle of the Realm has been solved. Orchid Enthusiast 21, Emmy Orchid EA73. EA73.
Do you need me? Do you need me to give you a keycard? No.
Not for the moment, thank you. And besides, you don't have any points.
Oh my God, we need some orchid.
We need some points.
Oh,
Need some orchid points.
No.
We need orchid points.
we have a bit more coins now.
Okay, we need 4,000 to open this door.
Oh my
Okay,
God,
We need 4,000 points.
We could take a gamble on this stripes.
I will take a
I
gamble.
love to gamble.
Oh, 4,000. We only need
But not with
1,000 more.
orchids.
1,000 more.
I need an orchid.
There's one in the bottom right corner.
Oh, we have enough coins now. I
Okay,
think.
great. Requesting keycard.
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 Very good. I will take a moment to take a little rest here, please. Breaking news! The Imperial Orchid Society of Orchid Collectors and Friends has just announced the arrest of French horticulturist Jean-Christophe Bleuron for the murder of Eckhard Florescu. According to the middle finger of the Mycelial Crime Unit, Bleuron wanted to use the decomposition process of Florescu's body to harvest feverling mushrooms and create a portal to, I quote, "get the fuck out of this maze." The Federal Bureau of Flowers and Vegetables and the amygdala of the Mycelial Crime Unit would like to remind the public that the harvesting of orchid collectors is illegal and punished by 3 months in jail as well as a 170 coins fine. I'm happy to report once again, case closed. And we are back in the maze.
Back in the maze. Back in hell, baby.
Here we are in the maze.
So this yellow one, I will take it.
20,000, not bad.
We have a lot.
Tell me more about the orchids.
We have some coins. I have a red one that is almost completely red.
Red.
I think we had it before.
Red one.
But my memory is not what it used to be.
Could it be... Well, can you tell me a little more about this red orchid?
It's simple and plain red, and it has like a purple lip.
Okay, I believe this is the don't click. Clicotus nopus.
Oh.
Clicotus nopus doesn't like to be clicked. I think it sounds great. Why not click it?
Yeah.
Who would have thought
I
such a
clicked it.
beauty could be so beastly?
Oh, now I have a very beautiful one. It has kind of a purplish, pinkish throat, and it has green petals that are kind of surrounded by this pinkish, purple, magenta color, and also with the stripes. It's very hard to describe, but it kind of looks like
Could one drink it after a heavy day of drugs and alcohol?
probably.
I think it's the hair of the hund. Thristepix insigne. TI-43. Thristepix insigne is an orchid endemic to South Africa. America, sorry.
4
It is
seconds.
rumored-
3
4
seconds.
3,
2.
4, 3, 2.
Time extensions.
Oh, thank goodness.
I
It
think.
is rumored to have been cultivated by the Incas centuries ago, who used the flowers as a cure for hangovers. Climate, humid, flower, glowing red throat, lapid petals with thick magenta edges.
Okay.
There
Should I
are
take
at
it?
least 28,000
Yes, it looks quite
species of
unthreatening and
orchids.
possibly even useful.
I will take it.
The answer lies in the ingenious mechanical construction of the flower.
This is very true.
Requesting keycard.
Keycard!
Keycard.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, keycard.
Keycard.
Okay, let me get back to the orchid. What did we decide on the one that had kind of blue greyish petals with little dots on it? It's one of the few orchids I have seen with dots. I think we hadn't solved the
There's a
problem.
few orchids with dots.
This-
Dots are usually a good indication. Does it have a reddish throat?
Yes.
It's our good old friend Leaky Jim.
Oh, we have lost.
Oh, no.
This was a difficult maze.
Nomi GM90 concludes Leaky Jim Gemea tuberculata. Sadly, we're too late for Dante Scanline's last suggestion. Pony Orchid Center top behind the dark green one. Your suggestions are appreciated, committee.
We will take them into account next time, I'm pretty sure.
Continue. Failure. Game over.
I heard someone say game over.
It's probably time to end the transmission.
Oh my god.
The signal is starting to fade. I think this simulation is coming to an end.
I cannot hear you really well. What are you saying?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey? Miss Pepsi Man, I'm losing you.